Hey guys, Coach Eric here. I just want to do a short video talking a little bit about discipline. So, discipline, as many of you know, is important not just to health and fitness, but to life in general. But a lot of people don't understand that there is a hidden cost to it. And by that, I mean, discipline is one of those things that it's learnable, it's teachable. But once somebody, gets it, so to speak, it's not necessarily like a finite resource, something that you can just continually go to the well with, because it does have a hidden cost, and that cost that I'm talking about is willpower. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. How I like to explain this to clients, because as a lot of you may know, I work as a fitness trainer and fitness consultant, more consultant than trainer these days. But basically, I advise people on all things health and fitness and metabolic health. And so when we're talking about somebody having discipline, somebody having good discipline in the realm of fitness, maybe they have a good workout routine, maybe they're extremely disciplined and they get up at a certain time of day to do their workout every day, or several times a week, or maybe they stay up till a certain time of day to get their workout done several times a week. They're really consistent with it, they're really focused with it, the intensity's there, the variation's there. Maybe they're disciplined on the other side, or maybe they're not a workout warrior, but they're really disciplined with maybe meal prepping, maybe sticking to a certain amount of calories, not eating certain types of foods. Maybe they're disciplined there. Or maybe they're disciplined in neither area and they know they struggle with both. They need to get their eating better and their fitness habits better. But regardless, even people that do have discipline in one of those categories or both, doesn't matter, they are still prone to burnout, right? And burnout is a direct result of running out of willpower. Willpower is drained directly by discipline. And here's why I say that. When you have to use discipline to get something done, right? There's a good chance you're not motivated to do it. And it's probably not the most fun thing. It's probably not the first thing that you would have picked to do at that given time, right? So that's why you're having to tap into that discipline to do it. But when you tap into that discipline, accessing that discipline comes at the cost of using willpower to make yourself hold to being disciplined, right? Whereas opposed to if you had motivation or if the activity was fun, you don't need discipline to fuel that activity because you're motivated to do it. It's going to be fun. Your brain's looking at it in an entirely different perspective, from an entirely different perspective. And so realistically, you have to have a good mix of things, right? If I'm trying to be somebody's trainer, be somebody's coach, I've done it before where I've hammered it in the past, like, no, we just have to do it this way. It has to be done this way regardless. And I can hold people to that level of discipline, but then I've watched their willpower whittle away. I've seen it happen with myself, I could be disciplined and run 7 days out of the week, no problem. But at a certain point, my body, my mind is going to notice that point of what's called diminishing returns. And then after that, it's going to be a battle of will to make myself stay disciplined to keep going, even though everything else is screaming at me to take a break, right? So with your willpower, if you think about your discipline on one hand, and you think about it as a bar, right? And the more your discipline bar fills up as you get older, more mature in life, hopefully you get into better habits, that bar gets bigger and bigger. So you could hold more things in and be disciplined with them, right? But at the same time, you need a willpower bar underneath that flows the same length, because all that discipline, every single time you have to access it, drains your willpower, right? Because you had to force yourself to be disciplined. So those two are always going to run hand in hand. On the other side, you have your boosters of fun, which you can get from, whether it's variations, spontaneity, whatever, and motivation. Maybe somebody's doing it with you, maybe it's a challenge, maybe there's an incentive. But those two things add to your willpower bar, while discipline detracts from it, right? And like we said, if you're going to use discipline, which I believe everybody should, and I believe they should use it as the backbone of their routine, that's great. You have to know that it comes at that hidden cost. And so my point is this: for everybody that's getting started on these New Year's fitness journeys, Everybody's going to want the diet plan to go along with the workout plan, or at least workout direction, or at least, hey, I need a gym membership. I'll figure it out when I get there. But there should, at least in most cases, be some sort of thought process with, you need to get something done physically, plan on that end, and a plan nutritionally or metabolically. Hopefully they're thinking along the latter. But hopefully they have like a dual-pronged plan of attack, right? Which is great, but people want to have that tendency to get out of the gate too fast. And so initially, maybe they go from not really working out at all consistently the last couple months to now all of a sudden they want to do 4 or 5 times a week. Maybe they went from not monitoring their calories at all till now all of a sudden they want a specific meal plan. They want everything measured out, portioned out, the whole 9. Now, after a couple weeks, or maybe the first couple months, it's very likely that you're going to experience some results because you're doing something drastically different than you did before, and in a very positive way. But it's so drastically different than what you were doing before, and often at a pace that is unsustainable, that inevitably there is going to be some kickback, right? Likely, in a lot of cases, because you ran out of that willpower over here. Like we said, even if you start off the beginning of the year, you're strong, mind, body, soul. You tell yourself, I have the discipline, I am disciplined, my discipline fuel tank is gassed up, ready to go. If you're not monitoring that willpower fuel underneath it, that its own gauge, its own fuel gauge, if you're not monitoring it and everything that detracts from it, then you're setting yourself up for failure no matter what plan you're following already. And so I say all of that to say this: make sure you have a plan, but make sure it's a plan that is sustainable and hopefully replicable, right? Not because you want to repeat it on the 1st of January every year, hopefully that's not the case, but because once you cross that bridge and get from point A, where you're at, probably not where you want to be, to point B, or let's call it J or Z, it doesn't really matter, but you get to where you're trying to go. Hopefully you did it in such a way that you were confident with, that you understood, that now you can actually easily go back and articulate to someone else how to get from A to Z, to get across that same bridge essentially. And that's what I mean by replicable, right? There's only so many trainers out there, and not all of them are in it for the right reasons, if you ask me, right? So at the end of the day, everyone's your student, everyone's your teacher. So I learn just as much from my clients as I teach them. And that's been the case over the now 13 years that I've been doing this. I've been doing this for a really long time. So hopefully somebody got something out of this. Like I said, discipline is great. It's the preferred backbone of your fuel source, your drive, but motivation and fun, they do have their places. And in this context, in this situation, their place is to help repair and restore that willpower fuel that powers your discipline, which is the backbone of your essence, your drive, knowing how to keep that replenished and keep that from running low and tapping that fuel source out and breaking your discipline, or having your discipline break you rather, is super key. And it's going to be key for a lot of you guys to understand that in order to be successful this year. So hopefully somebody got something out of that. If you guys have any questions, this is what I do full time. So let me know, hit me up, and we'll get something worked out. You guys take it easy and good luck on your journeys. Take care. Coach out.